Hey everyone, we're discussing a worksheet on graph of linear and simultaneous equations. Before we do that, let's quickly revise what are linear equation. So linear equation is any equation whose graph is a straight line, any straight line whatsoever. And the equation of a linear equation is of this form: y is equals to, let's say, 3x plus 2. The general form is y is equals to mx plus c, where, if you remember, m was the slope and c is the y-intercept. So if I take this equation, the slope will be 3 and c will be 2. Now slope is the rise over run. So for any, let's say this is the straight line, the value of this rise divided by value of this run will give us the value of slope. So m equals 3 and c is the point where the graph cuts the x-axis. So for this particular equation, the graph should cut the y-axis at 2. Alright, and secondly we had discussed that if a slope is, let's say, plus 3, then it should be a rising line. If a slope is, let's say, a negative value, then its graph should be a falling line. If slope is undefined or infinite, it should be a vertical line, and if the value of slope is 0, then it's a horizontal line. Alright, so we get this smiley face or a weird expressionless face like this. Okay, now let's start the worksheet questions. Also, if two slopes or if two lines are parallel, let's say we have this line and another line, if they are parallel, then their slopes should be equal. In this case, slope of line 1 should be equals to slope of line 2. Alright. Starting question number 1, which says, write down the equation of a straight line with gradient. Gradient is simply the slope. Just a second. Okay, gradient is the slope. So with gradient -4 and passing through the point 0, 5, when we get such a coordinate, this is the value of c. This is where the graph cuts the y-axis. So if the graph is cutting the y-axis at 5, so the value of c is 5. Why did I write 0? C equals 5. Alright, so the equation general form is y is equals to mx plus c. This will be y equals minus 4x plus 5 simply. This is the answer for question 1. Question 2, which says, a line parallel to this line passes through 0, 3. Write down the equation of this line. So equation of a straight line is y is equals to mx plus c. C we can easily tell from here is 3. Now what is m? Remember, if two lines are parallel, then the slopes are equal. So the slope of this equation is 2. Slope is always the coefficient of x. So similarly, slope of this will be 2 as well. So the final equation will be y is equals to 2x plus 3. Answer for question 2. Question 3 is, a line A has equation y is equals to 5x minus 4. A line B has equation 3x plus 2y equals 18. Part A, write down the gradient of line A. So for line A, this was line A, this was line B. The gradient is in the form always y is equals to mx plus c. The coefficient of x is the gradient, so m is simply 5 for part 1. For part 2, we need to give the gradient of line B. So first we need to rearrange in the form y is equals to mx plus c. So we'll write 2y is equals to minus 3x plus 18, and then make y the subject. Y is equals to minus 3 over 2x plus 9. So now the value of slope is minus 3 over 2 or 1.5. This is the answer for A2. Always write the equation as the subject of by making y the subject first, and then the coefficient of x will be your slope. Okay, part D, this should have been part B. Work out the coordinates of the point of intersection of line A and B. So for that you simply need to solve these two equations simultaneously. I have y, I will rearrange it, y minus x equals minus 4, and then I have 2y plus 3x equals 18. I have these two equations, I need to solve these simultaneously. So I can easily eliminate y by multiplying the whole equation with minus 2. So minus 2y plus 10x equals 8, and the second equation remains the same, 2y plus 3x equals 18. This becomes 0y plus 13x equals 26, and x equals 2. So when x is 2, let's find the value of y by putting it back anywhere. So I will put this back here. So 2y plus 3 times 2 equals 18. So this will give us 18 minus 6 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the coordinates would be 2, 6 should be the final answer. Remember to write the answer in the form of coordinates. Question number 4 is the lines xy is equals to 4y plus 10 and line 2y is equals to kx minus 4 are parallel. Find the values of k. So we will equate the slopes of both the lines since the lines are parallel. So let's figure out the slopes of both lines. The first line is 5x equals 4y plus 10. We need to make y the subject. So 5x minus 10 equals 4y. Make y the subject, move 4 to the other side, it will get divided with both of these. So now the slope is coefficient of x, which is 5 over 4. And what about the second equation? The second equation is 2y is equals to kx minus 4. Make y the subject, so k over 2x minus 4 over 2. So now this slope is k over 2. Since both lines are parallel, their slopes should be equal. So we'll write k over 2 is equals to 5 over 4, which gives us k equals 5 by 2, which is 2.5. This is the final answer. So you need to equate both the slopes because the slopes are parallel. And to find the value of slope, first you need to write the equation in the form y equals mx plus c. Okay, question number 6, which says find the equation of line L, give your answer in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. So I need the value of m and I need the value of c. So c is simply where the graph cuts the y-axis, that is 3. So my equation is y is equals mx plus 3. Now I need the value of m, and m is rise over run. So let's try to find that out. Rise is the jump, this vertical increase, and run is this horizontal increase. So notice this is 3 and this is 1.5. So my slope will be 3 over 1.5, which is 2. So the final answer is y is equals to 2x plus 3 for question 5. Moving to question number 6, which says write down the coordinates of point B. So that is simply 7, 1. We just need to read the coordinates. Part A. Part B, find the gradient of AB. So we need the gradient of AB. Let's make a line over here. We need the rise over run of this line. So what's the value of rise? 1 unit, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So M will be 3 by 5 by 4. 5 is the rise, 4 is the run, and it is a falling line, so it will be minus 5 over 4. Remember we discussed that if the line is falling, its slope will be negative, and if it's a rising line, its slope will be positive. But keeping this in mind, the slope of the answer for this should also be minus 2x. I've copied the wrong answer from the marking scheme. This is y equals minus 2x plus 3. Alright, make this correction since the line is falling. So for a falling line, the slope is always negative. So even when you're finding rise over run, you will put a negative sign with it yourself. So these are the two answers for question 5 and question 6. Question 7, which says find the equation of line CB. So again, equation of a straight line is simply y equals mx plus c. Now we have to substitute the values. C here is where the line cuts the y-axis, which is 4. Next we need to find its m. M is rise over run, and here the rise is 1 unit, right, and the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So it will be 1 over 5, but again, since it's a falling line, we will take a negative, take a negative value of it, so minus 1 over 5. So the final answer is y equals minus 1 over 5x plus 4. This is the answer for question 7. Right. Question 8. The diagram shows a straight line L which passes through the points 0, 3 and 4, 11. So this is the first point, 0, 3 and 4, 11. Write down the equation of line L in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. So again, c is very obvious. It's where the graph cuts the y-axis, that is the point 3. So y equals mx plus 3. Now we have to find its slope, which is rise over run. So how much is the rise? We started from 3 and we ended at 11. So 11 minus 3 is 8. And how much is the run? We start from 0 and end at 4, so 4. So m is simply 8 over 4, which equals 2, and since it's a rising line, the value will be positive, so plus 2. So the final answer is y equals 2x plus 3. Answer for question 8. Question number 9, which is the diagram shows the straight line which passes through 0, 1 and 3, 13. Write the equation of straight line. So again, C is very obvious, which is the equation of straight line is y equals mx plus c. C here is 1, where the graph cuts the y-axis. Next we need to find the value of m. M is rise over run, and since it's a rising line, this value of slope should be positive. So how much is the let's find the run first. We're starting from 0, we're ending at 3, so run is simply 3. For rise, we're starting from 1 and ending at 13, so the rise is 12. So m will be rise 12 over 3, which equals plus 4, because it's a rising line. Alright, so the final answer is y equals 4x plus 1. Question number 10. Okay, so question 10. Work out the gradient of line L. So the gradient would be rise over run, right? So let's figure out rise over run. If I'm starting from here and till here, the rise is, we're starting from -1 to 5, so the rise is of 6 units, and the run is of from 0 to 3 units. So, and it's a rising line, so it's be a positive line, 6 over 3, which is 2. Now I could have also taken this rise over run. This has 3 rise and 1.5 run. Even 3 over 1.5 would give me 2. So any values that you can easily read. For rise and run you can use. Alright, next up is write down the equation of the line parallel to this line. If the second line is parallel to the first line, then its slope will be 2 as well, and it passes through 0 comma 6, which means c equals 6. So y equals 2x plus 6 is the answer for part B of question 10. Question number 11. Part A, write down the coordinate of A. So simply read out the coordinate. Coordinate of A is 5 here. So 5 comma 6, 6 here. So 5 comma 6 is the answer for part A. A is 5 comma 6. Okay, part B, find the equation of line L in the form y equals mx plus c. C is very clearly 3. We need to find m, so that means we need rise over run. Let's use this rise, which is 3, and this run, which is 4. So m is 3 by 4. So the equation will be y equals, wait a second, 3 over, alright, so the rise will be minus 3 over 4, not positive 3 over 4, because it's a falling line, and remember, falling line has a negative slope, rising line has a positive slope. So it's 3 over minus 3 over 4 x plus 3 plus 3. Okay, then part C is write down the equation of line parallel to line N which passes through the point B. So where is the point B? B is the point 0 comma minus 2. So now C is minus 2 and slope is the same as the previous part, minus 3 over 4. So the answer is y equals minus 3 over 4x plus 2. Alright, so I think the answers here that I've copied from the marking scheme are wrong, because here the rise over run is very clearly, let's check some other point as well. This is a whole number, 0 to 3. Acha. Alright, so I've made a mistake. This is not ending at 4. This line cuts the x-axis somewhere earlier. So let me reconsider the rise. I've taken the wrong rise. So let me see which triangle combination can I use so I have whole numbers. If I start from here till here, these will give me whole number. Yes, completely whole number. So rise is 1, 2, 3, 4 units and run is 5 units. So yes, the answers are correct. This is minus 4 over 5. So minus 4 over 5, minus 4 over 5, and here as well minus 4 over 5 and minus 4 over 5x plus 2, final answer. Alright, question 12. The equation of a straight line 2y equals 3x plus 4. Find the gradient of this line. So simply make y the subject, so we get y equals 3 by 2 x plus 2. So slope is simply 3 by 2, which is 1.5. This is part A, part 1. Then part 2 is find the coordinates of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. That is this point, which is 0 comma 6 simply. Yes, so find the coordinates of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. As it's 0 comma 6, it's written wrong over here. It's 0 6, not 0 2. Okay, so for the next part, part B, find the equation of line L. So the equation is y equals mx plus c, and we know that there's a problem in the previous part. I think the answer is right, because why was I reading this graph for part 2? This graph is for part B. So this part 2 is linked to the given equation. So we need to find, let me quickly rub all of this, and we need to find the equation, no, we need to find the coordinate of point where this line crosses the y-axis. So when the line will be crossing the y-axis, whichever line this is, we know that here x is always equals to 0. So simply substitute x equals to 0 in the given equation. So 2y equals 3 times 0 plus 4, which gives us y equals 2. That's why we got 0 comma 2. So this is the answer for part 2. Let's do part B now. Part B, the diagram shows a straight line L following the equation of L. So the equation is y equals mx plus c. The general form, c is very clearly 6. C is where the graph cuts the y-axis. Now let's see the value of slope. So we need a nice rise over run. So 6 to 0 is the rise and 0 to 3 is the run. So m equals minus, because it's a falling line, minus 6 over 3, which gives us minus 2. So y equals minus 2x plus 6. So this is the equation answer for B1. Moving on to B2. We have find the equation of line perpendicular to the line L that passes through 0 comma 3. Make this correction. For grade 8 we haven't studied perpendicular line, this is parallel, so please change it to parallel for grade 8th. Okay, so for part 2, going back to it, find the equation of line which is parallel to the line L. That means they both will have the same slope and c will be 3. So y equals minus 2x plus 3 is the answer for part B. Next up is question number 13. So for that, simply part A, this first, please make this correction. This is 5 minus x. Alright, so going back to the question, the equation of the line L in the diagram is y equals 5 minus x. Part A, the line cuts the y-axis at P. Write down the coordinates of P. So rearranging the line, this becomes minus 1x plus 5, and remember 5 is where the graph cuts the y-axis. So this is 5. So the coordinate of P is simply 0 comma 5 for 13 part A. For B part, write down the gradient of this line. So the gradient will simply be minus 1. Slope is the coefficient of x, so that would be minus 1. Question number 14. Okay, for question 14, state which line is the equation of y equals 1 is always a horizontal line. So this would probably be 1, y equals 1, and that is why this whole equation is called y equals to 1. So this answer for this one is A. Then the next equation is y equals x plus 4, and the third one is y equals 4 minus x. Now keep this in mind, this is slope is positive 1, so it should be a rising line. So C is a rising line, so let's write C here, and then the part B is left. It's automatically answer for part C, and for this the slope is minus 1, so it's a falling line, so automatically B is a falling line. So these are the answers for question 14. Question number 15, which says write down the equation of the 3 lines shown in the graph below. Okay, so this line is y equals 5, because this value is y equals 5 and the value never changes, so y equals 5. Then this line is, this value is x equals to 2, so the whole line is x equals 2, so x equals 2. And then we have a tilted line. tilted line will be in the form y equals mx plus c. It's note that its c is simply 0 because the graph is cutting the y-axis at 0. Next we need m. M is the rise over run. So let's take this rise. So it is 0 till 2 units, and then let's take this run, which is also 0 to 2 units. So 2 over 2, 1. So the equation of this line is y equals 1x plus 0, which is y equals x. Question number 16. Which says find the equation of line L1, L2 and L3. So this is L1. This is simply y equals 2. So y equals 2 is the first equation. Then the second equation, let's take L2. Now we need this for the second one. C is 0 because the graph is cutting the y-axis at 0. Now next we need the value of m. So we need a nice rise over run. So let's see. So let's take this. This is rise is 2 and run is 1. So m will be 2 over 1, which is 2. So y equals 2x plus 0, which is y equals 2x. L3 for line 3, c is simply 5 because the graph is cutting the y-axis at 5. Now let's try to figure out the rise. So this is 5, the rise, and the run is 10, 0 to 10. So m will be 5 over 10, which is half. And also notice that it's a falling line, so m will be minus half. So the equation is y equals minus half x plus 5. Okay. Next up is question number 17, which says draw the line y equals to 2. So this is y equals to 2, and I'll draw this straight line here. I should have completed it. Y equals to 2. It should be one smooth straight line. Next it's x equals 5. So here is x equals 5. I'll draw a straight line. Why do I keep messing up? Alright, so a straight line from here till the top. Excuse my jittery line. You should have a one straight line from x equals 5. Then I need to plot y equals 2x. So for this, let me just take 3 points for x and y. When x is 0, y should be 0. When x is 1, y is 2. When x is 2, y is 4. So let's plot these points: 0, 0, 1, 2, and then 2, 4. So grab a scale and pass a smooth straight line through it. And then the last one is y equals minus half x plus 6. Again, take 3 values of x and 3 corresponding values of y. Let's take such values of x so that 2 gets cancelled with it. When x is 0, this becomes 6. When x is 2, minus 2 over 2 becomes minus 1, and y becomes 5. And similarly, when x is 4, y becomes 4 over minus 2, and this becomes 4. Yes. So now let's plot these dots: 0, 0. Again 2, 5 is somewhere here, and then 4, 4. No, wait. When x is 4, 4 over 2 is... Okay, so there's a mistake. This was 0, 6. So the first point should be 0, 6 here. The next point is 2, 5 here roughly, and the third point is 4, 4. Yours should be accurate. Mine would be obviously rough sketches. So next is join this with a straight line, and you have the 4 lines they ask you to plot. Okay, so the last question for this worksheet is question 18, it says solve these simultaneous equations using graphical method. So we need to draw, okay, so we need to draw the graphs for both these equations. The first equation is 3x plus y equals to 2. Let's rearrange to 2 minus 3x. So I'm going to take 3 values of x and 3 corresponding values of y. Let's take 0. For 0 I'll get 2. When x is 1 I'll get minus 1, and when x is 2, so 2 minus 6 will be minus 4. So let me draw this. 0 comma 2 is the first point, 1 comma minus 1 is the second point, and 2 comma minus 4 is the third point. So a line through this straight line, a straight line through these 3 points. So roughly something like this, and also it should extend here, extend it completely through the graph. Alright, so the next one is 2x minus y equals 3, which means 2x minus 3 equals y. Make a box again, write 3 values of x and find 3 corresponding values of y. So when x is 3, y is when x is 0, y is minus 3. When x is 1, y is minus 1. When x is 2, y is 1. So I'm going to plot these points now. 0 comma minus 3 is here, 1 comma minus 1 is here, and I found the point of intersection automatically, 2 comma 1, but I'll have to finish the question because there are marks for working. So now the solution of these two simultaneous equations is simply where the two graphs meet. So that is x equals 1 and y equals minus 1. You have to give this final answer. Right. So that's all related to graphs of linear and simultaneous equations. I'll see you next time. Bye.